So with that said, I'm Travis Giffen. I'm the Assistant Director of Online Programs. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar here on the Instructional Design MasterTrack Certificate Program. I have a quick poll that I'm going to start here at the launch for folks that have joined us today. If you could give us some input, let us know where you're at. It tells us a little bit about the audience that we have this evening. You will notice that you have been muted and your video is off. If you have questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to enter them in the Q&A portion of the chat as we are going through the presentation. We will try to answer everybody's question today. Should have enough time to get those questions answered for you. We will be answering them throughout the presentation, but we also will have time at the end of the presentation today to answer those questions live for people watching the recording afterwards. So we really appreciate those questions as they come in throughout the presentation. And thank you for your interest in the program. With that said, going to go ahead and get started in things. We're going to do some welcome and introductions. There will be a brief overview of the certificate program. Then we will hear from two of our instructors who have joined us on the call here this evening as they share about the two classes in the program. We'll talk about how you can transition from the MasterTrack into a Master of Education here at the University of Illinois, and a bit about the process for enrolling and why you should consider enrolling in this program. If you have any questions that you think of later after the program, you can also reach us at onlineprograms@education.illinois.edu. We're happy to answer those questions anytime for you. With us, we have some folks from the Office of Online Programs. As I had said, I'm Travis Giffen, the Assistant Director of Online Programs. We also have Sangeetha Kapala-Christian. She is the Assistant Dean for Online Learning and Innovation, who has joined us. And we have Gina Poff, who is the Online Academic and Student Services Coordinator. We also have two of our wonderful faculty with us here this evening, Dr. Kelly Best and Dr. Debbie Hubrick, who will be sharing some more. With that, I'm going to turn things over to Sangeetha for a brief, quick glance at the Instructional Design MasterTrack program.
Thank you, Travis. Welcome, everybody. I'm happy to get things going here and then give you a chance to hear from the faculty, and then I'll come back at the end again for a wrap up. Can we go to the next slide, please? So we want to give you, or I want to give you a quick snapshot of what this program is about. And again, you'll hear more about it later on. So in this program, in this certificate program, you will learn to solve real-world learning and performance challenges. You will learn to integrate technology with today's learning environments, and you will master key concepts in instructional and training system design, learning technologies, and more. So this certificate program is composed of 2 courses. Each course is for 4 graduate credits. So together you will earn 8 graduate credits upon completing the certificate program. So what do you need to enter the certificate program? You will need to have earned a bachelor's degree. The tuition currently is $2,384 for both the courses. Approximately could take 3 to 4 months to complete, depending on when you start and how you schedule your courses. And as Travis mentioned earlier, it's a stackable certificate program. So what that means is the 8 graduate credits that you earn can be stacked into a master's program if you should get admitted into the master's program. There are weekly live sessions and hands-on projects, and you'll hear more about that from the professors. So again, a quick idea of what types of students come to our program and what type of job titles they may have currently or they may aspire to hold. So we get students from all settings, really. So we have students that come in from higher education, that are in the healthcare and IT and business and K-12 military, basically any type of setting. And our students are either already in the training and learning design field, or they want to enter the training and learning design field in any of these settings. So they are old job titles such as instructional designer or curriculum developer, e-learning specialist, trainer, training and development specialist, or a manager or an instructional coordinator. This is not an exhaustive list of all the possibilities, but these are some job titles that our students aspire to hold after completing the certificate program. Sometimes students are already in these positions, but want to be better equipped to execute their roles. So then they find the certificate useful in those situations as well. And so with that, I will hand things off to Dr. Best.
Hello, everyone. It's good to see so many people on here. My name is Dr. Kelly Best Huddy. I am located actually an hour south of Champaign-Urbana in a smaller town named Charleston. I got my undergraduate and master's degrees from Eastern Illinois University in career and technical education, and then I got my MBA. And then in 2020, I finished up and got my PhD from the HRD program at the U of I. So I know how great of a program it can be, and wonderful faculty and staff. So that is my educational background. I was a software trainer and a manager for a software company right out of my MBA program that was based out of Arizona. And then I moved to Chicago and then back to Charleston. And I've been working at Eastern in the School of Technology for about 10 years now. And I'm currently an assistant professor for the graduate program and then an assistant chair for the School of Technology. And I have listed there, I won't go into too much detail on myself, but I do like to research and study expertise development, leadership, conflict, accelerated training programs, all sorts. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. And next up, we have Dr. Rubeck.
Hello, everyone. It is so great to be here. I'm always excited to come and do these information sessions because it's just great to see your interest and know that you are really considering embarking on possibly a new career change. That's happening a lot in the industry right now. As Travis said, my name is Dr. Debbie Rubeck, and I am an adjunct lecturer for the Department of Education Policy, Organization, and Leadership at UIUC. I'm also work full-time as a senior process improvement and learning development specialist for the Ohio State University here in Columbus, Ohio, where I reside. I earned both my doctorate and my master's degree at UIUC in human resource education. I love to research on the meaning of work, meaningfulness, and engagement in the world of technology. And what I do currently in the field at Ohio State is I work in instructional design, and I wear a lot of different hats, as you can imagine. So instructional design can give you that broad depth that you're looking for if you're looking to really focus in this area. I do have a breadth of experience in strategic learning and development, teaching, instructional design, workplace training across industries. And I've been really, really fortunate to be able to follow my passion for exploring creative ways to bridge the gap between research, teaching and practice. I like to say that I create learning experiences for people to explore creative ways and meaningful ways to help others reach and unleash their potential. So this is my purpose, my why in life that makes the work that I do meaningful to me. So I'm really excited that you've joined us, and I can't wait to share more about the program. And here we are. I'll be talking to you tonight about EPOL 472 Instructional and Training Systems Design. I have taught both EPOL 42 several times over the course of several years now. And I've also taught EPOL 483 that Dr. Best will be teaching this fall term. So I'll let her share all those wonderful things about that course. But to talk to you about EPOL 472, this course is very dynamic. You're going to learn key components of instructional and training systems design that's guided by instructional design models and rooted in various learning and instructional theories. This course will prepare you to select, organize, and develop effective instruction and training. You'll gain deep understanding of how people learn cognitively and emotionally so that the development of learning content and design will be more tailored and meaningful and engaging. Next slide, please. So EPOL 472 covers we design an instructional solution to learning and performance challenges. That is the foundation of why we even do instructional design. During the course, and we'll talk more in detail about each of the major areas, but you'll do an instructional design project working with a group, case study scenarios on instructional design, and you'll also have an opportunity to develop an e-portfolio. And I'm excited about this component this year, and we'll talk more about that as well. Next slide, please. So EPOL 472, the major assignments involve the instructional design project, the instructional design case scenarios, and the e-portfolio development. And I believe the next slide will allow us to go into a little bit more detail, if I remember correctly. Yes, the instructional design project, you are asked to design and develop an education program to fulfill the learning needs of your target audience. In this project, you'll play a key role in conducting front-end analysis, defining the learning objectives, selecting the relevant technologies, developing the learning materials, and evaluating design outcomes. And we do this using the framework of ADDIE. That's an acronym for assessment, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. And that is a very common framework. There's hundreds of frameworks that are out there, but that is one of the most recognized frameworks that is used in the field. But we also look at, we use a text from Reagan, Smith and Reagan, and it's very foundational. So we'll really look at the processes within that ADDIE framework and as you design your project. Next slide, please. The ID case study scenarios, there are 4 in the class. We ask that you choose one. As we go through each level of the instructional design phase, one of these scenarios will represent a broad piece of that particular element in the course. So the first scenario is the analysis scenario, and you'll look at a case study and you'll analyze a new training and development project for project managers. The second scenario You'll look at possibly macro design decisions for new trainings for associate project managers and project managers. And the third scenario is the implementation scenario. So looking at addressing the question, can change management process reveal underlying concerns? And so you can possibly choose that scenario if that what piques your interest. The fourth one is the evaluation scenario. So you'll look at reasons why you might receive a low evaluation participation rate, among other things. Next slide, please. And I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Best to talk about her EPOL 483 learning technologies.
Thank you. So I guess I didn't mention starting last semester in the spring, I started teaching EPOL 483. And then I also am finishing up that course, a summer course for it. So this is my second time teaching it. And then I will, as Debbie said, teach it again in the fall. So really getting familiar with it and loving it so far. So this particular course is the second in the two courses based on learning technologies. And so what we do in this class is we look at identifying and analyzing different learning technologies as potential options for integrating into your TEAL, as we say, technology enriched and enabled learning environments. So being able to look at different factors and then deciding which ones to utilize, and then being able to plug in what you learn in the previous course to justify your design choices based on sound learning theories, models, and frameworks. Okay, next slide. So I'm going to talk about this diagram on the right because the next slide will go into the major assignments. But what this is the different topics that we will cover throughout the course. And it's set up that way because they all really work and integrate with one another. So I won't go into too much detail about each one, but we look at learning, design, and technology each individually, and then how they work together. Learning with technology. We'll look at different theories, frameworks, and models for design. Now, I would say that, you go into more depth on these previous course. We will touch on them and then go into more detail on certain ones like cognitive load theory and trying to minimize the cognitive load of your learners so that they have freed up space, if you will, for the important part for the learning and being able to achieve what we want them to achieve at a certain level. We go into the evolution of learning technologies, so kind of the history and evolution of how the field has shaped and transformed based on things that have happened around the world, historical events, as well as the needs of society. All of that plays into shaping this field. We also go and look into specific immersive learning environments. So immersive learning environments would be your VR, AR, game-based learning, things like that. And then at the top, we touch on different trends in the field and how to start developing your design perspective or philosophy based on your values and interests. Okay, next slide. So the major assignments, I would actually add one more. You do have an asynchronous online discussion that you'll do weekly, and that's really the only thing that you do individually. Then you'll do these 2 other assignments in groups, in teams. So first one is we have do explore learning technology activity. So your group will be a specific learning or casting. Your group will not, your group is going to research that topic and then create or develop a presentation and record it for the rest of the class to be able to learn more about that technology. So you're learning from one another as opposed to every group having to dive and research every single learning technology. I do want to say for this topic, or for this aspect of it, because I know this was a question in the previous orientation that we had, the course doesn't, we won't go into how to use, let's say, Canvas or Articulate or things like that. We're not going to go into the how-to, and you're not going to come away from it, knowing how to use all of those different technologies and tools. What we do is we explore the different options and then start being able to understand what things we need to look at and what factors come into play to be able to choose the best technology for the specific design that you're trying to achieve. So that's kind of, that was a question that I wanted to make sure that was clear. It's more of an exploration of these technologies and what we want to look for in order to choose the right one. And then the second major assignment is, and it's actually 3, kind of like the last course with the 4 design case studies. So you'll have a design case study scenario, and then you will be, your group will have to submit 3 different scenario based on 3 different kind of topics, which we'll go into in the next slide. The portfolio, the e-portfolio is an option in the course, but it is optional. And so I have yet to have somebody want to do that, but it is available and an option if you're wanting to do that. Okay, next slide. So for the design case studies, the first scenario, converting company regulations and policies into interactive e-learning environments, you're going to create a design document or a proposal that you would be giving to your stakeholder to try to say, these are what I've designed for this learning solution to be able to achieve this, and these are my choices, and this is my justifications for my choices. And in this first scenario, you're going to include or create, design absorb type activities, which we look at more than a lecture, but that it would be an example of an absorb type activity. And then scenario 2, you've got kind of a different slight angle to it, and you can see it there, but that's where you want to incorporate or attach do type activities to your learning objectives. And then the third one would be where you are creating or designing connect type activities so that your learners can connect what they've learned and absorbed and be able to transfer it to other contexts or to situations with multiple factors coming into play. Okay, next slide. So the e-portfolio, this, Debbie, I don't know if you want to touch on this, just since I'm a little bit newer than you on teaching the courses.
Sure, I can do that. The reason I'm so excited about it was it's a big major part of both courses, or has been in the past. I know it's carried throughout 472. But we are changing platforms. We used to use the Digication platform, and now we are moving to Adobe Express. I just found this out this week, and so I'm very excited. I'll be learning the platform right along with you. But it's going to the nice thing about the e-portfolios is that you will create something that you can take with you. And it's a wonderful artifact to be able to share with employers and showcase your design and your skills and your capabilities with the instructional design project that you have created with your groups. And then in the EPOL 483 course, you can take that portfolio and you can also add to what you have created in 472 by incorporating your learning technology project. And again, being able to take this artifact, share it with potential employers is really an invaluable experience. I can tell you, one of the things and one of the reasons why I secured my job at the Ohio State University is for this reason, being able to demonstrate my skills and my ability through artifacts like my portfolio, through an e-learning that I had created and different instructional design projects. So when you have something to show, something to offer, something to talk to, it can be really, really beneficial depending on what your career goals are. So really looking forward to using the Adobe Express. It is going to be offered free through the University of Illinois. Because you are a registered student, you will have access to those tools. The very first course, 472, if you join us for 472 in fall term, the very first class, we will be giving a demonstration. Our CITL techs will be on hand to answer your questions, walk you through the platform. And like I said, I'm going to be right there learning right along with you. So I'm very excited to have this as part of the curriculum as well. So if you have any questions, let us know. And if we don't know the answers, we'll certainly find out for you.
And I
Debbie,
could I add one thing, just because I saw some questions in the chat. You do not, it is not a requirement for these courses for you to be an expert in instructional design or an expert learning technologist. This summer, I've got a wide variety of, I've got some higher ed instructors, I've got some K through 12 teachers. So, you know, as Debbie said, we're all learning from each other. It's a community of learning. And, you know, everyone is really welcome, that we're here, we're flexible and I think friendly and, you know, want you to succeed. And so we help you with areas that you may not have a lot of experience or knowledge in.
one quick question related to the e-portfolio that came in is, could either of you touch base on the feedback? Does feedback come from both of you, or either of you on the portfolio, or is it more peer-based feedback?
The feedback comes from the instructor or the TA. Usually my TA, they will, because we generally have such a large group, a large class, my TA is instrumental in doing a first review of everything, and then she will share with me her comments. She will share her comments with you. I say she, that's who I have had in the past. Could be he this time. I haven't been informed who my TA will be just yet. So excited about that too. So yes, so it is not peer review. It is completely reviewed by the instructor or the TA. And I will give you that feedback. The way that the portfolios happen in 472, There's 3 components, and usually the first component is just crafting your welcome page, and that's all. And then the second component, you will craft your About Me page. And it'll be just about you. What do you want a potential employer to know about you, who you are as a professional, and you have creative license. The third page of your ePortfolio is going to really focus on what your group has created together. So a summary of what your e-learning unit or course is. And then you'll give that summary, but then what I want you to do is really focus on your own learning unit. So within that instructional design course that you're creating as a group, you will also create your own individual learning unit based on your topic area. And that is what you will showcase in your e-learning or your e-learning portfolio. So it really focuses on the things that you have created. It demonstrates that you have worked with a group, that you can collaborate as professionals, and just gives you that opportunity, though, to really shine in your instructional design skills. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. And we will have more time for questions here at the end. Please keep those questions coming. I see quite a few answers being provided and answered in the chat. But we're going to move on into the program format. So the program is offered completely online. Collaboration is certainly the key. There's weekly video sync sessions, and we'll get into the time about that. Those happen once a week. There's a lot of group work, as you've heard about in the class sessions, and then there's office hours to connect with the faculty or your TA for your class for questions. We have weekly sync sessions for this fall. Courses are 8 weeks long, so you can take one course and then the second course directly after that in order to take both courses during the semester if you wish. But you also could take one course this fall and another course this spring. That was another question that I saw was asked. So that is certainly something that you can do. Weekly live class sessions for this fall are 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Currently for this fall, EPOL 472 is starting August 21st, and EPOL 483 starts October 16th. The first 2 live sessions are required, but participation in all other sessions is highly recommended. It's how students get the most out of their class and have the opportunity in order to engage with their classmates and faculty during those course sessions. The sessions are designed for you to interact with each other and provide for an enriched learning experience. Another question that we get from time to time is about how much time can you anticipate of coursework outside of the class? 8 to 12 hours is about how much you can expect outside of the live sessions for work for each class during the term. We've already talked on this also, but just want to touch base on this again. After completing the Instructional Design MasterTrack program, you can apply to one of our Masters of Education programs and the EPOL department. That's Education Policy, Organization, and Leadership. I know we've kind of thrown that acronym about quite a bit, so just want to spell that out for everybody. And these programs here that you see are all a part of the EPOL program, and the courses transfer directly into them, and you can have them applied for your master's program. Also, as a student in the Instructional Design MasterTrack certificate program, you have access to our career services. We have asynchronous services and presentations that are available through the Career Center here at the college, and also through online programs. You can schedule individual career coaching sessions with myself directly throughout your program. And with that, I'm going to turn things over to Gina for a bit to share a bit about enrollment and enrolling in the program.
Requirements and program costs. A bachelor's degree is required to enroll in the Instructional Design MasterTrack certificate program. Total cost of the program is $2,384. That's for both courses, the entire program. And once you enroll, you will pay the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign for each Instructional Design MasterTrack certificate course. So each course is $1,192. So you'll be charged the total amount if you register for both classes at the same time. And if you register for classes one at a time, then you will be charged for each class separately. There are payment options. Unfortunately, since the Instructional Design MasterTrack certificate is a non-degree program, no financial aid is available. But we do offer payment plans, and you can refer to the web page below for more information on how to set up those payment plans. The link below is how you would start and register for the MasterTrack certificate program. And fall 2023 applications are open. Applications for fall 2023 term A, so EPOL 472, closes August 7th, and classes begin the week of August 21st. Applications for fall 2023 term B, which is EPOL 483, closes October 2nd, and classes start the week of October 16th. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the Q&A, or you can email onlineprograms@education.illinois.edu.
So I'm back. You've heard some great information, and I wanted to give you some final thoughts on why you should choose to study at the College of Education at the University of Illinois. So our university here, the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, is a top-tier research university. It has been ranked number 3 by US News and World Reports. The College of Education's online master's program specifically has been ranked number 3, and that's for the 3rd consecutive year. So we've been highly ranked in recent years for our online master's programs. Our ranking has to do with our affordability and the quality of instruction that you will receive. So we have world-class faculty here. Online student engagement has been a priority. We focus on that. You will not only be learning from world-class faculty, but you will also be learning with peers that have interesting and rich backgrounds, so you can benefit from learning together with individuals who have much to offer. And again, because it's a top-tier research university, as online students, you will have access to many of the wonderful resources the university has, such as the library. The University of Illinois library system is one of the best in the country, and you will have access to that. So I hope you will consider joining the University of Illinois and gaining an education here, getting this certificate, and possibly also moving on to a degree program. So do think about the information you've heard, and you don't have much time. So we start in August. The first deadline is coming up in August. So think about it. And so now I think we can transition into the Q&A for those of you who have still questions. Now's the time.
Thank you, everyone. And yeah, as Sangeeta said, now is your time to ask questions. Please feel free to keep typing those in the chat, and we will start answering some of those live. I know one of the questions that we have gotten before while folks are thinking is that students in the Instructional Design MasterTrack program do have access to the library services here at the University of Illinois. Even as non-degree students, you still get access to the university library. And so that is something that you can take advantage of during your time as a student.
I might
For the-
also, oh, I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
Travis.
No, go ahead.
I was just on that same vein. I was going to mention too, as a student of University of Illinois, you also have access to free LinkedIn learning courses. So if you are interested in learning perhaps Articulate or Captiva or any types of learning technologies that is commonly used in the field of instructional design or learning technology, you can go on and view those courses, which can be really helpful as well. So, you know, that can be a great supplemental self-directed learning experience.
One question that we got here is are there other technologies or applications that will be used that haven't been mentioned that students will have access to throughout the course?
I know for EPOL 483, we will just be using the learning management system. So for the MasterTrack, you'll be using Coursera. If you're a student at U of I, you'll be using Canvas. And then we use Zoom for the synchronous sessions, and you can utilize that for recording your ELT assignment. But other than that, there's no required technologies or software. And then I was also going to answer the question about the group work assignments. So I know at least for EPOL 483, we first, when we're grouping you or when I'm grouping you into teams, I will look at what time zone you're in and try to get you with a group of students or learners that, you know, have kind of the same schedule as you. So that's one thing that helps the work, the team assignments. And then we also give time at the end of the synchronous sessions each week that your team can meet in a breakout group. So we like to at least provide some time that we know everybody will be there and available. So.
Yes, and it's very much the same requirements for EPOL 472. There are no authoring software platforms that are required for the instructional design program. There was a question on whether or not you know, you could do an e-learning model or an online learning course, and you can. I have had students that have created an online instructional course, and that's completely okay. Some people take advantage of free trials. So I know that Articulate would have a 30-day free trial that you could use. I don't really encourage that because it's not necessary. However, what you can do is take your e-learning course that you and your group have designed, and if you are applying for positions, if you want to transition and you know that you can create a module, go ahead and use that 30-day free trial, get familiar with the platform and plug in your content and create that online version. You will be able to share a link with any employers, and it's just a nice artifact to have. So I don't limit you. One of the things in instructional design is we love to see how you can get around problems, how you can think through things, how you can be creative and imaginative and innovative, right? So I just only ask that you run it by me so we can have a really good talk about some of the things you might need to think about. So other than that, we just use the LMS. We'll be working with groups. You'll be working with groups, as Dr. Bess has explained. We keep everyone as closely as possible to workable time zones and really work within those groups. There was a question about textbook. For EPOL 472, there is a textbook required, and it is listed in the syllabus. If you send me an email, I'll be happy to share that information with you as well. You can generally find this textbook very inexpensively. Get a used one on Amazon. There's a lot of worldwide bookstores, used bookstores, so that you can use any platform that you need to secure that textbook. But we cover a lot of that as well in class. And
I will also.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna also share, if you're quick enough and you find out about the books and you get things set up, you can potentially find the book through the library here at the university also.
Yes, absolutely. And if you do have to purchase it, it's right around $50 US dollars. So, you know, and cheaper if you get used. So not a big investment for books, but that's the only textbook that we use.
And for 483, I believe that both textbooks are available to all students, an e-learning or an online version through the library. So for that class, you don't have to worry about purchasing anything unless you'd want a hard copy. And then we provide you with links to the other resources like articles and websites and podcast episodes and things that we add along the way.
Did we get the question answered? Somebody asked about doing group work assignments. How does that work in order for finding time with group mates? I know that we've had students from all over the world that have collaborated together, but I didn't know if there's anything that either of our faculty could add there.
Yeah, I think I touched on that. I think I answered it with saying that we try to group you on your teams based on time zones. And then we offer time at the end of every week's synchronous session for the groups to meet, usually at least about a half hour. So quite a bit can be done in that time.
Yes, I would second Dr. Bess' comment as well. We do the very same thing in 472. One of the things that I really encourage students to do, because this is a very large project in the instructional design course, is to really communicate with your group members. You'll be creating a shared document that will become your actual instructional design package. And you'll operate off of that one document throughout the course. You'll share the Google document link with me. I'll provide you all my feedback on your project as you go along. The way that we do the instructional design package is you'll take 2 what we call instructional design activities about every 2 weeks. So you'll do instructional design activity 1 and 2, and then I'll provide you feedback, and you do 3 and 4, and I'll provide you feedback, and then you'll finish up the project and create your final project document. So lots of feedback. You'll be working at any time with your groups outside of the course, but as Dr. Best explained as well, I always leave room so that students can meet with their groups after the class. I stay on and answer questions, and when everybody is satisfied, I just turn them loose to meet with their group. So lots of different ways around it. I can tell you that our groups for, gosh, out of all of the students I've taught, in fact, last fall, I taught 472 and 483, and combined, I had about 185 students total, I believe, in those two courses. And of that, I can honestly say we had one group problem. And that was it, and it was resolved, and our groups flourished. So if you're nervous about working in a group, you know, put those feelings aside. We don't live on an island. You'll be working in groups if you haven't worked in industry. You know, we just are not isolated. And as instructional designers, you will be working with subject matter experts. You will be working to gain insights from some of your target audiences. So not a field for the shy necessarily. But yeah, you will be collaborating a lot. So it gives you that opportunity to really hone those collaboration skills.
Awesome. And I was trying to read, so Amy, I see your question, and I may need a little bit more information to understand and correctly give you a good answer. But we explore all the various learning technologies, but then we also touch on looking at different multimedia aspects of the learning and with cognitive load theory. So the use of text versus audio, narration, graphics, animation, where to put text in relation to pictures, all of that kind of stuff. So I don't know if that answers your question. Dr. Rubik, maybe you're reading it a little bit differently. I'm not sure exactly what your question was there, but we look at lots of different learning technologies and not just learning management systems. And then the different multimedia elements of teal environments. So Dr. Rubik, I don't know if you have anything to add to that after reading the question. I'm just not sure of what.
I see just a message that Travis would like to answer this question. Am I reading that wrong?
I was just flagging that we would answer it live.
Okay.
It's continuation of Amy's question. She just submitted another follow-up to it. So it looks like she's curious to the best practices when it comes to choosing particular objects to best engage with different audiences. So she says, yes, multimedia object selection is part of what she was going for.
Yes. So thanks, Amy, for adding that. So hopefully I answered your question.
All right. Well, we have just a little bit of time left before everybody runs off to their next commitment or on with the rest of their day. Would really appreciate if you give us feedback on if this event met your expectations or not. Really do appreciate you all attending the webinar, all of you watching the webinar back also. If you have any questions that weren't answered throughout this session, if you're watching it back or watching live, you can always reach us at onlineprograms@education.illinois.edu. We're happy to answer your questions. If you have questions specifically for either of the faculty, we're happy to redirect those questions to them. If you send us an email there, we're happy to get those answered. And we really hope that you consider this program and consider joining us at the University of Illinois. If you would like the slides sent directly, please email us at onlineprograms@education.illinois.edu. It's too large of a file for us to send out mass mail. But if you would like the slides sent to you directly, please reach out to us and we'd be happy to send them to you. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, no matter where you are located. We hope you consider joining us at the University of Illinois.
Thank you.